Sociology, Chapter 1 of second book, Social Structure, Stratification and Social Process in Society. Subtopics are social structure and stratification, cooperation and division of labor, competition as an idea and practice, conflict and cooperation, land conflict, and we'll discuss short notes also, altruism, alienation, anomie, capitalism, division of labor, laissez-faire, mechanical solidarity, organic solidarity. Now first is social structure and stratification. It is a position occupied by an individual in a group or in society. Every society and every group has many such positions, and all individuals occupy many such positions. The status of an individual differs to the type of the group or community. For example, your status in a social school or college is different from others from that at home. Roles is the expected behavior of an individual who holds a certain status. It is the dynamic aspect of the status, and it is the status which determines the behavior pattern, obligation and privileges. Norms. It refers to the guidelines people follow while interacting with other persons. Norms are shared standards of desirable behavior. They indicate how people have to behave in a particular situation. Norms differ from society to society, from group to group, and from situation to situation. Values. As a conception or standard culture, or merely personal by which things are compared and approved or disapproved related to one another, held to be relatively desirable or undesirable, more meritorious or less, more or less correct. Now, features of social structure. Social structure and the outer form of society. Like the structure of the human body, social structure is the outer form of society. Obviously, it gives an idea of the external form of society, individuality. Social structure is created by the sequence of interrelationship of various units, institutions, social group, association, individuals, etc. Only then a special pattern of society emerges, which is social structure. Now, comparatively permanent concept. It is a comparatively permanent concept. According to Johnson, the groups and subgroups that form social structure are comparatively more permanent. Each element has a special place in social structure. The various units of social structure have a special place in society, such as government, city, institution, association, etc. None of them can replace the other, nor can they be allowed to do so. For example, the school cannot take the place of family or vice versa. Social structure is abstract. Social structure manifests the pattern of various units in society. These patterns cannot be seen or touched, they can only be imagined. Thus, social structure is abstract. The units have their own structure. The family, caste, class, community, institution, association have their own structure. Next, various social structures. In each society, the structure of its unit, the family, caste, class, community, institution, etc. will be of its own kind. Consequently, the social structure in all societies cannot be the same. For example, the importance of joint family, caste system, local language in Indian society is not the same in American society. Next, social structure does not always emphasize organization. Social structure puts negative pressure on individual, and all negative behavior is a result of pressure of social structure. Next is various types of status. Various types of status are desirable as described below under following heads. Status may be achieved or ascribed. Ascribed status is assigned to an individual either on the basis of his birth and biological characteristics such as sex, age, race, or the status is assigned to an individual by the social system which remains unchangeable. For example, a person born in a royal family becomes prince or princess. Similarly, in India, caste plays an important role in determining the status of an individual, which is an example of ascribed status. Achieve this status, a position which an individual attains through personal efforts. For example, one can become a doctor, engineer, or lawyer by one's own efforts. Higher and low status. Each person holds several different statuses, but some status may be ranked higher than the other in a society. Master status. However, a person is also known by a master status. For instance, a teacher in a university is known as professor, though he may also be an occupant of many other statuses, each such as members of club, president of teachers association, and citizen. Now, prestige and esteem. Prestige is determined by the position that a person occupies, whereas esteem is evaluated on the basis of role, performance. Since a person's ability to carry out roles, various occupants of a similar or the same position may be held in different degrees of esteem. For example, school principals have the same prestige, but their differential role, performance earns them different degree of esteem. Now, competition. Social function of competition. When competition was not fully developed in ancient times, then humans were using power to achieve anything. Weak people were lagging behind and were not getting any chance to move forward. Within this caste system in our country, persons had to adopt his ancestral occupation. No one was able to use his ability. That's why there was hardly any difference between higher and lower caste. Social instability was always there and everyone was not getting equal opportunity to do progress. When the process of competition came into being, every person started to work according to his ability and everyone got chance to achieve higher status. Every person started to work according to his every person started to work hard with which conflict in society is reduced to a great extent. Certainly it has helped in maintaining social ability, social progress. Every sector of the society makes progress with competition. Everyone makes progress with more hard work, with which whole society makes progress. With many types of competition, society makes progress from economic points of view. Continuous process. Importance of rules and regulation. Competition is always based on rules and regulation, because of which it is non-violent process. If any competitor tries to break the rules or break the rules, then he can be thrown out of the competition. It is an unconscious process. The process of competition is an unconscious process. The aim of competition is to achieve anything with efforts by which a person cannot do anything. He works hard with full concentration to achieve success in competition. For example, thousands of persons take part in competition of IAS, but only few hundred become successful. An impersonal process. It is an impersonal process. It is so because person hardly knows about other competitors. He works hard only to achieve his goal. According to the famous scholar, only heaven can be without competition, because either citizens of hell or independent of needs or things must have been a large quantity. Now, main feature of the class system. Class as a status group. The social class of an individual is directly related to his social status. The members of society are engaged in different activities and follows different occupation. A definite hierarchical order. In the class system, the class group are stratified in a definite hierarchical order. Certain class groups are placed at a high status while others occupy the middle position, feeling of superiority and inferiority. Class consciousness is there. An open society, class system creates an open environment. There are no restrictions imposed upon the individual regarding his occupation. His occupation and social status are a result of his own efforts. Subclasses. Each class group is composed of various subclasses. These subclasses form the structure of class group. In a class group, the subclasses are placed hierarchical order, wherein one subclass is placed at a higher level. Now conflicts. Discuss how conflict leads to social process. Conflict leads to process, social process. Unlike competition, persons who came into conflict with one another are not restricted by rules. They often use coercion, fraud, and fear. The conflict process is faced by none, nevertheless widely exists in society. Conflict emerges when an individual or group tries to obtain a reward by preventing others from effectively competing. They do not try to have a reward by surpassing other competitors. Difference between competition and conflict. Competition is an unconscious process. Conflict is a conscious process. Competition is impersonal. Conflict is mostly personal. The primary motive of competition is to achieve the goals. The primary motive is to harm the opponent, and goal is secondary motive. Competition goes on continuously in social life. Conflict comes under certain circumstances. Competition is non-violent form of opposition. Conflict is violent form of opposition. In competition, the decisive factor is the third party. There is no third party involved in conflict. Often the competition do not know each other. Often competitors do not know each other. Competitors always know each other. Social rules are followed in competition. Social rules are not followed in conflict. Often competition are benefited. Often both parties suffer losses in conflict. Competition is minimally disintegrative. Conflict is a more disintegrative and social process. Now how conflict leads to social integration. Conflict and social integration. In modern society, conflict within a group may sometimes have integrative effect. Such internal conflicts have positive function. Objective interests of a group shift from time to time. New policies, programs, and leadership are needed to replace the old ones. On occasion, contest with the group is essential. Such contest may keep the leadership active and policies reviewed. Sometimes suppression of natural conflicts may cause discontent. External conflicts may also tend to integrate the groups involved. External conflicts force members within the group to cooperate faithfully. Now, accommodation. What is accommodation? Accommodation is important for the social organization. After conflict, it requires adjustment between the parties involved. This is necessary for continuation and main status quo in order to maintain status quo in the social organization. Indian society is divided into a number of castes having unequal social and economic status. The caste system has been based on unequal social relationships. Out throughout the Indian history, these castes have been characterized by harmonious and disharmonious relationships. This shows a continuous process of adjustment among the different caste groups, the process of accommodation. After independence, efforts have been made to create adjustment among the different groups to abolish untouchability. Laws have been made and special opportunities have been provided in job, etc. That's all.